This is my Pecha Kucha over literacy instruction for grade 4. I picked grade 4 because I cadet taught in a 4th grade class in high school, and I got to work with them during their reading time. So I got a lot of my ideas from this project through that class and through my 4th grade class when I went through. This is just a rough physical layout of my classroom. I had put a reading rug for a larger group reading, 2 group tables for group work. The tables in the middle will be 4 desks put together so students can work together, and also a fun reading area that should bring students in to read. These are just some of the ideas that I was thinking when I said fun reading area in my physical layout. I want to create a fun atmosphere that students can go into and just fully embrace reading and have a fun time doing it. These are some different examples that I found that were really fun to me. A learning theory that I would use is sociolinguistics. Students use language to organize their thoughts, so working with small groups or with their partners. I also added the zone of proximal development. I want to challenge my students and get them to where they can, are challenged a little bit. Another learning theory I would use is constructivism. This allows students to use inquiry learning and engagement learning. This is more student-centered, which is kind of what I would want my classroom to be like. It allows students to find their own ways of learning, which I think is very important for students to do. The way I would incorporate the writing process into my curriculum is that the students could write a short story, which is on the left, and write in their journal. The short story could be anything about a vacation or something fun that they've done with their family. The journals, we would have guided questions and write responses to those guided questions. Each day I will incorporate the writing process. The students can work through the process through the pre-writing, the writing, the revising, the editing, and the publishing. I put the desks together the way I did so that they could have the groups and they could work together to write their short stories. The way I would incorporate the reading process is reading this book with my class. I believe Wonder is a great book to read with a 4th grade class. It helps students overcome differences between each other and knowing everyone is unique. We could talk about it and discuss everything that this book has for us. Using the book Wonder, I would incorporate the reading process. We would make predictions and introduce new vocabulary. I would read to the class each day. We would write in our logs about each chapter and discuss as a group. We would also list out the vocabulary in that section, and then we would reflect as a group about the reading. Another way I would incorporate the reading process is through the book called Friendle. The characters in this book found objects and just renamed them, so the pen is called the Friendle. And I would use this by having the students read together in a group to work throughout this book. Using the book Friendle, my students would be able to make predictions, read in groups of 3 to 4, write in their logs about each chapter and discuss in the group. They would also list out the vocabulary and study them. They would collect memorable quotes from the book, and they would construct projects. It is important that teachers foster a love for literature for their students. It helps if they enjoy reading, which is something that I need to work on. However, also making books fun by acting them out. We're Going on a Bear Hunt is a great book to act out, and students will have a lot of fun, and they could even enjoy literature even more. Something else to foster a love for literature is to take my students to the library, whether that be the local library or the library connected to the school. Either way, them getting into that library and finding the books that they want and the books that they're going to enjoy will help find their love for literature even more. I want to get the families involved with the literacy education that we go through. I would provide a book bag to go home with full of books that the parents can read to the students and the students can read to the parents. Also a reading log where the parents can sign off and show that they are engaging with their student with their reading. Another way for the family to get involved with the literacy education is to write letters of encouragement. I think this would be really important to the students to show that their parents do care and they do want to help their students better their education by their reading. Being culturally responsive in instruction and practice is something that my students will benefit from tremendously. Number the Stars and Esperanza Rising are two great books that will help my students learn about different cultures and what they had to go through during their times of hardship. Going along with being culturally responsive, if I don't get to as many books as I had hoped for this section, the students can still access the books in the mini books on the bookshelves and they can still learn that way. Creating a successful learning community is something that I will value in my classroom. I want my children to feel safe and feel comfortable in my classroom. They will respect one another and respect myself. I have high expectations for all my students to where I'm going to challenge them because I want to see them succeed throughout their schooling. Following that, I want my students to be risk taking. I want them to be able to pick out the book that might be a little bit more challenging than they normally do. I want them to collaborate with other students or other groups they don't normally work with. And finally, a choice. I want them to be able to choose the books that they want to read and have fun with it. Lastly, I want my students to take responsibility for their actions in their classroom and what they do. Family and community involvement is also very important that I want my students to be able to encounter to help their experiences in their classroom. This is my Pecha Kucha and I hope you enjoyed it.